Hello Internet, James Allen from Out of 8, and today I'm playing real-time grand strategy game Medieval Kingdom Wars. The game features a tutorial which is story-based, kind of teaches you the basics of the game. Also has an online skirmish mode where you can challenge other people online, but the main crux of the game is the campaign mode where you can pick any of the nations in Europe starting in the 1300s. So I'll start a new game here. Like I said, you can pick any of the major countries that were present in that time period. What do I want to do? Let's pick somebody in... let's do the Holy Roman Empire. And then you can pick any of the lords in that area. And I'll kind of pick somebody in the middle. Actually, that's Florence. The renown and the standing when the main king dies determines who takes control of the whole thing afterwards. Well, let's just choose this guy. He has 2 cities, so we'll start the campaign there. So the game basically takes place in 2 phases. It has the main map of Europe, which is kind of the grand strategy half of things, and then real-time battles on top of that, and I'll try to show off both of those things. That was a little whatever. So yeah, I don't need you. Alright, so this it goes in real time, so I'm going to pause it here for a sec. This particular person comes up with 2 cities. So I have Milan, and then I also have Genoa, which is kind of inconvenient as they're on opposite sides of things. Now, I am currently at war with these people over here, with Provence, and areas over in France. So that's probably where I'm going to concentrate most of my ire, is over in that direction. What you can do on the main map is primarily you're going to attack towns of your enemies, take them over, and incorporate them into your realm in order to get better things, increased research, more money, and stuff like that. So you start out with a little army here. Very basic army with basic units. This has peasant units. So only a 32 attack rating, which is not super awesome to start out with here. So kind of your first thing, and you can also see the balance of your economy over here on the left. Your first goal is to increase your economy. What you can do is you can actually build structures 2 ways, which is confusing / interesting depending on how you approach it. You can, if you click on the city, like I'll click on Genoa, you can build it directly from the map mode, which costs the silver, which is up here on the side, which is gained from taxes or buildings, both of them at the same time. So you can build it here, or you can actually go in and enter the city and build them using more traditional resources that are collected in real time in your city. Again, it's kind of odd the way that you can do it 2 different ways. So usually what I do is I try to buy stuff in the city view first off, and then I go to the other view to kind of tie up the loose ends for things. Yes, I know. In that aspect. So this city has basically nothing in it, which is not a surprise considering it's a real basic city. So I do have some idle peasants. I'm going to have some of them. We'll collect wood. Yeah, go after wood. And then my other set of peasants will collect food. There we go. So they will go do that. You also have some basic units here, which is what you start out with. And then you can select any of these building plots and build all the same buildings that you can build from the main map view. So I'm going to start with my industry buildings. I need to build an iron camp and a steel camp, which I have enough resources for that, but not the other ones. So I actually probably should have done the stone camp first. But that's okay. So, you know, these are the resources that are only present in the kind of the RTS mode in here, which again is kind of odd, but that's the way it goes. So I don't think I can afford... No, I can't do the stone camp. Okay, good. So I can do one of each. Alright, so those are going to get built. These guys are going to collect my wood and my food. It's kind of a crappy city, actually. You can accelerate time in both this mode and the other mode. All the battles take place in this RTS mode as well. So when you're storming a city, it will actually take place in the actual city with the actual buildings placed where you have them placed, which is pretty cool. So we're going to let this finish a little bit. Let me see if I can build anything else. I got both of those. That's kind of really all I want there. Don't have enough for a storehouse or a barn yet. And I don't really want to build the military buildings in this town. So that's kind of all I really want here. I am going to wait for these to finish. And then I'll switch back to the...
building has been finished, my lord.
There's your iron camp. Any of the buildings can be upgraded. So for example, I can upgrade this, which will give you more resources. So it's an instantaneous thing.
Is ready, my lord.
And then I'll kind of do the same thing with the stone camp, and then we'll see how much... if I'm going to have resources to do that again, which I do. Not for that. Alright. So that's kind of all I really want to do here. I'm going to do this as primarily a resource producing city, and then I'm going to concentrate on doing my army in the other view. Now you can also do the same thing here. You can upgrade that building level of your city, which unlocks more building plots and stuff like that. So we're going to go back to the world map and go to my other city and kind of do the same thing over there. And then we'll start raising some armies once we have a decent economy set up. I suspect, and as you can see, my income is way higher than it was before, if you're paying attention to that. I suspect that originally the developers made it so you had to go into every single city in order to build stuff. And then once you get a really large empire, that's extremely tedious, especially if you have a really booming economy and just have silver rolling in every month. So I think they later added the ability to add that. That's kind of my theory on that. I don't really actually know for sure. Let me get this stupid army out of the way so I can actually enter the city here. Yeah, enter city. Thank you. Alright, so we're going to enter that city, and we're going to basically do the same stuff that we did in the other one. Again, when you start out, you want to focus on the economic buildings, which will help to increase the amount of silver you get. So basically, I'm going to build the basic economic buildings, and then from the main map view, I can use all that silver I have to build the military structures in this town here. So here we go. You can see in here the level of detail is pretty nice. So that's comforting. Alright, so let's do the iron and the... I don't have enough stone for that. Alright, so where am I idle? Go get some wood. You guys go get some animals, if I can find where they're at. Where are they at? This is like a really huge city. Oh, there they are. Yeah, go get them. Alright. So we'll wait a little bit to get more of the... I need more wood to build the stone camp. Just take a little bit of time. Do-do-do-do-do. So again, I'm just trying to get up the basic economy set up in here too, so I can roll in with the money back on the main map. I'll just do 2x. I'll just do 50. And we'll just kind of wait for this to finish in a minute and whatever.
A new structure is ready, my lord.
Alright, can I upgrade this? No. Wood needed. We'll wait for the stone camp to finish here. That can go now, so we'll do that.
A building has been
All right.
finished, my lord.
I suspect I do not have enough to upgrade that. I'm 6 short, so we'll wait a couple seconds. Then to come back with my wood. There we go. Alright, unsatisfied with that, so let's go back to the world map, and then we will use our silver to build basically everything else. Alright, so let's go back to Genoa. You can see that it has the level here, so I have a level 2, which is what I did in the town, which is nice. And then on these, I actually probably want to build a storehouse, which cost me 182 silver, and then I'm going to do a barn, and that will finish that out. And you can see now my income is way higher than my expenses based on my military rating. In Milan, however, I'll actually do the same sort of deal. So we'll do storehouse and barn, but then I'm going to start doing barracks and stuff. So we'll do a barracks and archery range. And although I probably don't need it, we'll do a siege workshop. Okay. So in addition to that, you can also collect taxes. If you use the collect all taxes button, there's a penalty for cutting down on micromanagement, or you can just go in and collect it manually just by clicking on all your cities, and you get all the money that you need. There you go. So, and then in addition to getting taxes, you also get the income from the building, so that gets added every month. Is this guy an enemy? No, he's not. You have these little advisors down here. This is like the event guy. You have diplomacy. The diplomatic options are really basic. It's improve relations. It's unimproved relations, whatever the opposite of that is. And then give territory. And then basically, just depending on what your relations level is, just automatically determines whether you're at war with them or not. Your marshal gives you a list of all your armies and all the other armies you can see. So luckily this guy, I think, is aligned with me, so he's not going to bother me. And then you have this gigantic research tree. In each of your cities, and let me show this first, like Milan, for example. Milan produces hides and statues. Those special goods are used to conduct research. So you can see, for example, to unlock the blast furnace, I need 12 of parchment. Now, what you can do if you don't make parchment, like I don't, is then you use your silver to purchase it. So I think the game really wants you to go into each city and use the local resources, you know, the wood and the food to build all your stuff, and then primarily use silver to pay for research upgrades. Now I can afford some of these. I can actually do horses. So we'll do that, and you just click the craft button and you're done. There's a bunch of different research options. Here's one for supply carts. Craft that one too. But that, and then I can do compass, which is kind of dumb, but I'll do that one anyway. But again, a lot of options here, and you know the options just go across the tree as you do it. So I'll probably actually want to do this one right here. So I might actually buy it, so I can get 175. There you go. So spend that gold. So basically, or silver. Basically, you're spending silver to get those things. And again, once you capture more territory, you'll be able to bring in more goods. So like, for example, there's your parchment from the papacy in that town right there. Alright, so let's get more troops. So if I go back in Milan, I can recruit units. Just got a bunch of money because the month rolled over. These are all the units you can get. The ones that are obviously grayed out, you don't have the tech for yet. But I can do that, that, and that. And then I will add those 3 to my army. If I take my army and I move them decently close to the city, doesn't have to be right on it. If I can click correctly. There we go. So transfer units. So there's your Milan stuff. So I can click and then click to transfer them over. Here I got a couple serfs and some food. So, actually might take some of these other guys too. I think that's good. So that gives me now a strength of 72, which is pretty decent. So I might start scouting around here a little bit. And go after some of these towns. Basically at war with all of France. At least the part close to me. Yeah, basically all of France. So we'll show off a battle. Hopefully we can encounter some enemy troops. Normally I would wait a little bit until I got attacked before I went before I, attack somebody. Is that an enemy? What is that? That is the Gap Army.
I'll fight till my bones and my flesh be hacked.
Oh, hey.
Well met, my lord.
I wonder if I can attack them. I might just do the battle right there. Oh, there you go. Automatically attack. Alright, so we're going to fight this instead of auto-resolving, even though I would auto-resolve this normally because I have such an advantage over them. I'm going to click fight just to show off the RTS fighting. The battles are pretty much what you would expect. You're limited to 30 units, as you can see in the little army screen. So basically what happens is, because you're capped at 30, you get better units by units leveling up. They gain battle experience, which is basically how you handle that thing. Now you do also get the same kind of city structures you do before. You can build stuff. You can have your serfs collect things, which is why I brought my chickens along with me. And they're going to have them get wood, which is interesting. And then I'm going to have all my troops out here ready to attack the enemy. So you have these controls up here that will select all units of the same type. There's my serfs. There's my peasant militia. And then you can hold right click to kind of move them and keep them somewhat ordered. My pikemen and my archers. So that's basically all my units right there. And then I can go in and build more units too in these building plots. So I actually have a pretty good amount of units to begin with, so I'm going to build a barracks, I think. No, I don't have enough stone, so let me build the stone thing. Alright. What else do I need? The archery range uses wood and stone. Wood should be fine, though.
Thy soldiers are under attack,
Oh,
my lord.
they're already attacking me.
Sword must out upon them. Need help, my lord.
Yeah, I'm going to basically kill these guys. So you can see units attack automatically. With each of the units, you can give them some sort of orders. You can change their stance between stand ground, defensive, and aggressive. And then also the formation between loose, tight, and then you have some special formations there once you do research on them. But I'm going to win this pretty easily, so I'm not too worried about it. You can even have the peasant militia come up and help.
The attackers waver. Help, we are attacked. The trumpet sounds to horse away. My soul's in arms and eager for the fray.
And then units have different ratings based on their, abilities and whatnot.
Swing 'em, boys.
So yeah, y'all are just gonna get destroyed here. So I don't even really need to keep anybody too organized, to be honest. And then this basically is the same way when you're storming a castle. You'll start with this little farm type, little city type area over here. Be able to build stuff. So I got my stone camp in there. So eventually I'll be able to build a barracks once I get 460. But again, the battle's not going to last long enough for that to occur. But it's pretty cool. So I mean, the battles are pretty fun. The AI does a pretty decent job of putting up a good fight when the forces are kind of equal. They will attack appropriate counters. You know, basically the way that the game works is you want to use blunt weapons against heavy armor, slashing or piercing weapons for light armor. You know, so try to use your, you know, mace men with their heavy things against their heavy armor and whatnot. Which, if you're outnumbered, is probably something you would want to do. So,
Strong pikes here, sir.
yeah, let's attack these horse guys.
Straight at them, lad. A high hope for a low.
Yeah.
God grant us patience, and they soon will win.
Once you capture the enemy flag at their base, then you'll win. So that's where it says that 100% there.
Hillman, drive it home. Pikes at them.
I don't even think this is gonna. And see, you also have a timer here too. So I don't even think I would have enough time to really build that. The barracks. I still need 460. I could actually probably go with another stone camp if I really wanted to.
High hope for a low heaven. God grant us
I don't have enough wood for that.
Soon will give this up.
So, because of even though you're limited to 30 units, each unit, as you can see, actually has a bunch of people in it. Like this is a group of 60 pikemen. So you can have pretty large battles, especially against some of the larger maps that you have to storm. So let's bring these guys a little bit closer here.
A high hope for a low heaven. God grant us patience, and they soon will give this up.
Yeah, just finish this battle.
Hillman, drive it home.
Cry havoc, sir.
Hillman,
Each battle comes unbidden.
Hillman on alert.
Yeah, I'm taking that flag, so it should be done pretty quick.
The attackers waver. How poor are they that have not patience?
Yeah, there you go. When you win a battle, you can get research resources, which is pretty nice. So I've got some loot off of that. Again, that was, you know, pretty lopsided to begin with, so. Yeah, that's a taste of what it is. It's more interesting when they're more evenly matched, because you can start building some of those structures on the outside and so on. After the battle, you can use some gold to re-heal. If you so choose. No, I might go after... Let's see what's going on in Nice. So... Don't have enough gold for any additional units. The pace is fairly slow just because initially how much money you're able to bring in a month and how expensive units are. You know, you can see over here, you know, a unit's like 200. I'm only getting like 200 a month, so it's a couple months for one additional unit. Oh wait, yeah, the guy's over there, isn't he?
Well met, my lord. A bloody business.
Come on. Yeah, sometimes clicking doesn't do what you want.
Well met, my lord.
There we go. Attack town. I could take him. Let's auto-resolve and see what happens. Okay, there we go. So it's capture. So now I have Nice. And I probably lost a bunch of units in the process, yeah. So you can heal all for 189, which I don't have enough gold for that, but...
Is a matter for swords and drums, my lord.
Alright, so basically send them back to Milan and then they'll re-heal. And that's basically it. You know, you'll steadily try to expand yourself out here. You know, I would go in and capture all these areas over here, which will take a little bit of time simply because units are fairly expensive, and you'll lose a lot of units especially when you storm villages and stuff. So, but now I have Nice. You can go into Nice, and then I would probably you know, build kind of the same structures that I had before. You know, here's your iron camp, and then your stone camp to begin with, which will bring in more income there. So you really have to expand to really get powerful. Overall, it's an interesting little game. I think Stronghold has a more interesting RTS battle mode. When you have towns that you have to defend, all the walls are in fixed locations, which reduces your micromanagement, but doesn't let you kind of customize where things are that you can place where turrets and ballistas and stuff like that are. Even though you're limited to the 30 squads per battle, it really doesn't make the battles feel small because each unit can actually consist of like 60 men or whatever. And then some units later on, once you unlock them, will have special abilities, and the counterings are a little bit interesting there. So that the RTS battles are solid. It just doesn't have the depth that something like Stronghold would have. And then again, on the grand strategy side of things, something like Europa Universalis or Crusader Kings is obviously going to have more depth on that side of it. Here all you're really doing is attacking, doing research, which is simply a straight up swapping special goods for new abilities, and conducting very basic diplomacy, which is either declaring war or not declaring war based on what your relations are, which is directly tied to your income. So it's very limited there. You can build up your cities through two different ways, either spending silver directly from the map or going into the city and waiting for resource collection in order to build structures and level them up there. So there are some options. However, there is some waiting involved as you wait for the silver to collect up so you can recruit units. Or you're just sitting at the city map screen waiting for wood and food to go so you can level up your structures that way. But overall, it's an interesting little game, and I think if you're looking for a simplified, more straightforward combination of real-time strategy game and grand strategy, I think that this would be something you will want to take a look at. That's all I have for today. Until next time, bye now.